Hi guys, I'm Ryan Houston and welcome to my fly tying channel. This channel contains hundreds of different videos covering all manner of different patterns, techniques and styles of fly tying. There's something here to suit almost everybody, so hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, let's get on with the show. Hi guys, so in the next series of 4 videos what we're going to tie is Carrie Stevens' Grey Ghost. So it's a fairly complicated streamer, and I've tried to do it in more detail than possibly a single video. So we're going to have 4 videos on this and take you through the different stages of tying, from the body to the bellies to the wing supports to the actual wing itself. So stay tuned, check out all 4 videos, and hopefully it'll help you along the way to tie your own classic streamer fly. Hi guys, welcome to part 2 of tying the Grey Ghost Carrie streamer. So at this point we've got round to doing the belly on this fly. So it's a complicated belly in that it has herl, and it has bucktail, and it has a topping built into that. So there's a few different ways of doing this. So I'll start off showing you the way that I don't like, and that is where people take a bunch of peacock herls, generally about 6 or so would be standard, and one way of doing this is to tie on bunch of peacock herls underneath. Now for lengthwise, generally it comes to just past the bend on the hook, and some people simply do that. And although it's simple to do, I really don't like the end result here with this flat end to it. So we'll take that off. So as you can see, I've already changed to a black tie-in thread to complete the head of the fly, and this one is my new go-to thread, which is Textreme, which I think is an Italian company. So for me, I would like to have the natural tips of the peacock involved in that. So you can take one of these big peacock feathers and you can match up 3 or 4 from one side and 3 or 4 from the other side. Take the 2 bunches. I'm going to try and use the natural curve of them to create the belly. So take the rights and the lefts and just get them together in a bunch. You can see I have the tips largely matched up. I'm going to flip this thing upside down. I'm going to take it till it's just beyond the bend of the hook. Put a loose wrap on it and let that compress the fibres down. Now, peacock herl is flat, so it can really only lie one way or the other. So what you'll find is when you put your bunch in, some of them that looked like they were lying straight will all of a sudden start to kick out left, right and centre. So one way around that would be to put in more fibres than you actually need. So if we're going for 6 fibres, you'd put in maybe 8, and that means that if something lies out at a funny angle that you don't like, or you don't like the tip of it or whatever, you can then just pull it out to the side and trim it off. So that's with matching up the fibres that are up the side of a long bit of the feather. The other way to do it would be to pick matching bits from either side of an eye. So with this, it helps to have a number of eyes, and then you can look and pick them now. So I'd be looking for one of these type of feathers here. Don't know how to explain it, but the tip tends to have gone on, and these are quite straight. So we take that off, and here again I'm going to separate out 3 or 4 from one side, and then get the corresponding fibers from the other side. I'm just going to set that bunch down while I get them off the other side. And my reason for liking these is that the tips tend to be quite aligned in them anyway. So we take some off there. And again, match the lefts and the rights up for tip length. And then we'll place that again underneath. So measure it for length, transfer that across, a couple of loose-ish wraps to hold that in place, and then tighten it up at the front and slowly go backwards. So here again, stroke it back, see how they lie. This one here has twisted, so therefore I'll just take it up forward and cut it off the base. This one again, not behaving, trim that off. And that is the herl belly attached, so we'll cut off those ends. So to hold this up underneath, what we're going to do is put on some white bucktail. So if you take your bucktail, these bits at this end of the bucktail are usually useless for it because they're quite pithy and they'll tend to splay. So generally I'm looking for fibers up here at the tip of a bucktail. They tend to be straighter and finer. And again, we have an option here that we can stack the hair, which I'm not that keen on doing that. I don't think it's very natural looking. But what I would do is to pull out the shortest fibers and then just check how the bucktail sits or splays. It should have some sort of natural curve to it, so you want to utilize that where possible. So any fibers that are sort of sticking out all over the place, I would just remove until I get a bunch that's running in the direction that I want it to. And I'll flip this over and I'm going to tie that in underneath. So lengthwise on this, I suppose it's a personal preference thing. You could take it back the same length as this, or you can tie it on that it's slightly shorter than the herl underneath. So what I'm going to do is put on a couple of loose wraps just to make sure that it's sitting kind of in the position that I want. And then I'm going to go further forward in the tie-in here and start to tighten down. And the reason for that is that bucktail does want to splay and flare, even if you have taken some from the tips. So what I'd do is I'd tie it in tightly at the front, pull these tag ends up and cut them off, and then wrap over them. And then to control the bucktail here, what I'm going to do is just to hold it up on top and then tight wraps at the front, but as I get further back I'm sort of binding it down, but I'm not pulling tight into it. It's held by these front wraps, and these ones, although they are clamping it down, they're not compressing it, and that should give us a nice tight belly. There's a few fibers here then that are not playing ball, they're sticking out at funny angles, so I'll just lift them up, pull them up forward to the tie-in here and cut those off. So next for this fly we have an underwing, and we also have a topping throat for this. So the topping for the underwing, what I would look for is something fairly flat. For a start it has to be straight, but also fairly flat. That can be difficult to achieve, so what you may want to do is break the back of a topping, and that can be done by taking a topping. As you can see, this is one with a pronounced curve in it. If we tie that on, it's going to look silly, so we want to straighten it out. So how to do that is take the edge of something and run the back of it over that under tension, and what you want to do is find something that's fairly straight. So the edge of the table I find quite good at that, so I just hold the topping under tension and I run it across it, and I end up with this straight back to it. And this one has a nice cascade to it as well, so we want it to sort of come back straight and then follow the curve of the back of the hook. So this one has worked out quite well. We'll just strip off these bits at the base because it's a little bit wider there and we don't really want it to interfere with the wing setting. You can flatten off the tie-in of it, and then if you hold it in a pair of pliers or a pair of tweezers here and look at it yourself, you can see is it going to lie straight. So this is obviously flat, this is how it would tie in, so it's kinked off that way. So what we'd want to do there is just to twist the stalk until it's lying in line as we would want it, and then you can tie that on. A little bit of wax onto our thread, wrap that back over there, that'll create a platform to hold this, and then put that on. Now you notice I'm putting it on slightly on my side because what I'm looking at to do is that the tying thread will actually carry it over and into position for me. I want to get a little bit of the cascade of the topping, both sides if possible. May not be completely possible. And then bind it there, but tighten the wraps up as we move forward, and then trim that off. So next what we want to do is to put in the final bit of our throat there, which is another topping. So we're looking for a fairly straight one. I've seen a lot of these tied with quite a pronounced curved small one, and it just doesn't fit with the flow for me. I like everything to be sort of more in line, more straight. So I've got a smaller straight one here. I flattened the tie-in point of it, and I'm just going to tie that back until it meets the back of our tie-in point there, and then just a few tighter wraps going forward just to hold it in place. So that, I'll just check it for alignment, and that is part 2 of our Carrie STEVENS.GRAY Ghost video done. So we've tied with the body, we've tied with the keels or bellies or whatever you want to call them, and I've also put in the underwing there. So the next video will encompass the wings and sides, etc. So hopefully you like what you've seen. If you did, give us a like, subscribe, check out all the other videos on the channel, and tune in for the subsequent parts of this video. Until next time, tight lines. Well, thanks for watching.